Militarily Speaking, Season 2, Episode 2, Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center.
This episode, we talk with Brandon Eldridge with Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center.
Say that 5 times.
I know I'm glad you have the popper device on your microphone today.
No. Welcome to Militarily Speaking, brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is Tom McLean, T-Mac, and Jodi Vickery, J-Vic. Should we do that or not?
Oh, sure, yeah, because we're cool enough to do that.
I'm the military retail executive for Armed Forces Bank, and Jodi is our chief digital officer. All right, we get Brandon Eldridge this afternoon.
Yes, welcome to the show, Brandon. We're excited to have you listening, or how excited to have our audience listening. Hopefully, Brandon listens a little bit, but
yeah. I might do some listening too.
Or
you could just talk about whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
But we're excited that our audience is tuned in and listening and learning all about you and your organization. I do want to take just a second, though, and tell them just a little bit about you. No new information, I hope, for you about yourself here. But
it's all made up, so you better
Tom may have taken liberties.
Don't believe everything you hear about me here.
It's weird. It starts with Brandon Eldridge, lifelong Cubs fan. So I don't.
Oh no.
That may or may not be Tom taking editorial privilege,
and Buffalo Bill and Baltimore Raven fan.
Yes,
because he doesn't like the Chiefs.
These guys.
I'm sorry, Brandon. Don't hang up. Brandon Eldridge was named the executive director for the Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center, SBDC for short, in April 2023. He plays a key role in supporting small businesses in the Pikes Peak region as they launch, grow, and create jobs. Brandon is a champion of the Colorado Springs business community and has nearly 25 years of management experience that spans various sectors, including technology, banking, and retail.
What was that middle one?
Banking. Yeah. Yeah, we're in good company here.
I'm a recovering banker.
Yep. They're trying to make me a banker so we can have a support group. Eldridge has worked as market director of Underline and spent time working at both Chase and Vectra Bank. Since moving to Colorado Springs in 1998, he has been actively involved in the community and served as the president of Leadership Pikes Peak and president of the Council of Neighborhood Organizations. He graduated from Colorado Technical University with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Welcome, Brandon. It's an honor to have you on the show. I'm grateful that you came here, even though you've met Tom previously. So
you still said yes.
Good
Jodi.
job being brave.
Yeah.
Tell our audience a little bit about your Pikes Peak Small Business Development Center, and let's kick it off there.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. I know that there's going to be a lot of SBDCs across the country that'll listen to this, and so I hope I do us justice. But
you will.
Here at the Pikes Peak region, I actually only cover 2 counties in the whole state of Colorado. So what's neat is we have 14 offices that cover the entire state. My office covers Colorado Springs, Woodland Park, so a little bit of the up the mountain, but mostly in El Paso County, which is the largest county in the state. So we have some really awesome impact. Last year, we served 694 businesses with at least 3 hours or more of impact. So when we work with clients, we're doing one-on-one free consulting, kind of talking about your business plan, your marketing strategies, how to integrate AI into your business, and all of the great things that help a business run properly. So
that's great. That's a good overview. And now we're about to pepper you with a billion questions.
Okay, what's going on?
And it's 2.5 hours of this, of Jodi, which is painful. So we met for the first time. We certainly did a prep work call with you, Brandon. We've also been involved with your annual conference that's coming up. I got firsthand knowledge of how great you are and how great your organization is based on what you told our audience at the conference about 45 days ago in your backyard. But let's talk about sort of that career, right? You said you were a recovered banker.
Yeah, that's right.
But what led you to be in the role today? We talked about your bio. We talked about why you're so qualified and experienced to take on this job. But how'd you get there and why?
Yeah, so real quickly, I know you guys were teasing me about my sports affiliations, but I was an Army brat growing up. And so I was a big Chiefs fan, moving to Colorado in the late 90s. And I got into sports retail early in my career. And I really enjoyed doing that, but I always felt like one day I was going to run my own business. So back around 2010, a great time for banks and mortgages, but I got recruited over to Chase Bank and I was a branch manager for them for almost 9 years. And while I was with Chase, I started there because I thought, well, I better understand how money works if I'm going to own my own business. And I got hooked and I stayed there for a long time. And I loved what I got to do every day. And what really made it special was the community impact that I was starting to lean into. I always felt like as a banker, it was our obligation to make sure we made community impact. So I started working with our nonprofits in the community and finding ways to just engage in ways that was more than just providing financial services. That led me to Vectra Bank in 2018, where obviously gave me a little runway before the pandemic hit. And while the PPP loans were being administered at our bank, the SBDC was also doing what we call the EIDL loans, the EIDL. So those are the disaster relief loans. So I'm doing PPP, the SBDC is doing EIDL loans. And we just found this really great synergy of like, we were doing town halls, virtual town halls with our chambers. And we were working with business owners across the board, helping them get capital in this really, really challenging time. And so I personally did 269 PPP loans for Zion's Bancorp. I set a personal record there, and so they gave me a little trophy that said I did so. And
you still have it? Do you still have it?
Where is the trophy today?
Yes. Yeah.
It'd be funny if you like whipped around and pulled it out from behind you.
Oh yeah, no, it's in my office. But I appreciated that because it demonstrated the work that my team did to get us through that period of time. But as you know, we built a really good relationship with SBDC, and I realized that I had an aptitude of working with entrepreneurs, helping people understand how to see the forest through the trees, and just get their business plan in a really great place where they're going to be profitable and help them excel. So having some of that business acumen, having an understanding of P&Ls and balance sheets and the underwriting process, and then also just being a community member, it's really been a great marriage of my career to come to SBDC and support entrepreneurship.
If it were that easy, anyone could do it, right? That path seemed just perfect for him.
He made it sound easy. So as companies come to you as they're trying to get underway, what are some of the most common services that they are seeking out and that you're finding you're able to match up with? And kind of along those lines, are there certain industries or sectors, if you will, that are sort of drawn to the services that your organization provides? Or is it all across the board different?
It's definitely across the board. I mean, we can help you with cybersecurity. We can help you with HR practices or building a great company culture. But most of the time, people are coming to us because, well, number one, they don't know what they don't know. And so they're seeking help. But a lot of times it's because they need capital. And so they're looking for what are the streams of money out there? How would they go into a business loan or get a VC for that matter? And so people seek us out because they're looking for that support to find capital. And sometimes it's not always about the money. Sometimes they just need more clients. And so understanding their branding, their marketing, how to get more clients through their business is obviously another key element to growing. So people come to us all the time. They're like, how do I use this AI to create a really great marketing plan? Or how do I put together a P&L and balance sheet so that the bank feels confident with my loan package? And we walk through that in a very systematic way with our advisors. So that's a big reason. But lately, I can tell you guys, I talk about AI almost daily.
I'll bet.
I mean, It's just been dominating the workflows. It's been dominating software that people use. And I think it's interesting because I run the SBDC like a small business. And so I use some of the same tools. Like we use QuickBooks. I use Canva for my marketing flyers. And we're finding that a lot of these tools that we're already using are starting to embed AI into the software. And so people are using AI more than they already realize. But we just ran a big AI summit here in Colorado Springs about a month ago, back in August. And we had 200 people, 8 keynote speakers throughout the day. And boy, I'll tell you, the stuff we're talking about in AI is just really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I know I don't even scratch the surface of understanding what it can do. I mean,
we don't,
yeah, it's regularly that we go through a bunch of hoops to do something in a way that we've always done it. And then somebody has the brilliant idea to say, hey, did you try ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever the case may be? And then you do that. And then you're like, oh, it did it in 5 minutes and it took me 5 hours. And then you try not to be, try not to be mad about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We came up with a mantra. So we work with our local BBB, and Jonathan Liebert and I, we have a mantra: is busy is the enemy of strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get bogged down by busy work because you're not using AI, then it's removing your ability to do strategic planning and to really think big picture about your business. So we're talking about AI in ways that help alleviate that busy work.
Yep. I'm writing that down. That might go on my whiteboard downstairs.
I'll erase it. You have a pretty big shop there, though. I know you got regions around the country, over 1,000 SBDCs, and but you've also got. You talked about legal services that you AI. I know is in big demand, and cybersecurity is a big issue for businesses. But legal support you provide, right?
A little bit. So SBDCs, you got to think about us as we're kind of the king of the DIYers. We're going to help you. We're going to teach you how to do it yourself. And while if you come to us and you need a marketing strategy, we're not going to make the marketing strategy for you. We're going to teach you how to really be intentional about that. It's the same thing with legal. We're not going to give you legal advice. We're not going to represent you in court if you're getting sued or if you're having a legal debate. But what we will do is, with our team of lawyers, is they'll tell you what you can and can't do in the state of Colorado and what is technically legal in our community. So in some ways it's a support, but in other ways it's not exactly seeking out a free lawyer to represent you in the court of law.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you've kind of talked about it with some of the other answers, but I wonder if there are other services or resources, either by coming to see you or going to your website, which I don't know that we've mentioned yet.
I'm waiting for him to mention it because he's got 17 different websites.
Oh, there will be a listing of websites.
Hashtags. Yeah.
If there are other resources or things that you bring to the table, or what if you have businesses that come to you and say, I have an idea, I don't even have a business yet. And so you need to kind of bring them a business in a box so they can put the framework of the puzzle on the table with you and then go away and fill out the pieces. How does that work?
Yeah, I was doing a military podcast last year leading up to our veterans conference. And the guy said, oh, it's interesting. You guys really have a process to start and scale a business. And I said, yeah. And he goes, military folks really like that because they come from a world of SOPs and a lot of structure. Sure. So while being an entrepreneur, I think by my definition of being an entrepreneur means you're thinking outside of the box and you're invested into a growing a business. You also can follow a very scripted process that's going to help you do that. And at my office, we have a startup day once a month. We've got online curriculum. And then, as you mentioned, I've got a good team. So we've got 41 advisors currently on my team that will meet one-on-one in a private, confidential setting and talk through those things that you maybe don't know. And you're maybe embarrassed to ask unless you know that it's going to be private. So that's kind of the model of SBDC. So going up on a federal level, we all know SBA because they back a lot of our loans that we underwrite. And the SBA, as part of their effort to ensure that the federal government is getting US-based small business contracts through procurement, they help fund operations like SBDC, SCORE, VBOX, so that's the Veteran Business Outreach Center, and then, of course, Women Resource Partners. So those are all in that family of federal resources. And you might find that VBOC and SBDC are closely aligned in many ways, and one might serve a better purpose for your business over the other. And then when you drill down to local, like I get some grants through the state of Colorado that allows us to do childcare services. We get some funding through our county that helps us do some scaling classes. So I'm looking for different revenue streams that help me provide curriculum and content to our businesses at all levels, federal, state, county, city. I mean, we find partnerships across the board. And then we can reach across to the DoD side. We have Apex accelerators that's, across the country. And then these accelerators, man, we've got some awesome accelerators in the Pikes Peak community. But most communities that are mature probably have some sort of tech accelerator that are helping quote unquote founders and helping scale up some of that technology stuff.
There's sort of like incubator stuff out there too, right? I think of AltCap, which is a company just in our backyard too, that is sort of that, not a VC particular, but maybe just a resource of funds available for startup businesses too. So I'm sure there's more than just that one company around this country that are there to provide sort of that initial funding or initial capital investment they need to get off the ground too. And it could be sizable. It could be just a small amount that they need.
Well, a lot of CDFIs out there will run accelerators.
Yep.
And that sometimes is their gateway drug to get your capital. You'll go through a 10-week accelerator, and at the end, you get your capital. So there's CDFIs, there's CDCs, and then there's nonprofits. Like in our community, we have one called Exponential Impact. And what they do is they manage these revolving loan funds, and they teach you some really foundational skills. They lend you at a really low, our revolving loan fund, I think it's 0% interest the first year, 1% the second year, but you have to have it paid back in those 36 months. So it's almost like free money, but you have to do a little work to get it. So, and we partner with a lot of those folks as well.
We ought to give everybody Brandon's cell number for that 0% financing.
Yes.
So it's 555.
Yeah, five. You know, it's funny. A movie switched that 555 number. Never works.
No, but 8675309 does.
But
Always.
Can you say it without singing it?
Jenny. Nope.
Please don't sing from.
Oh boy. So I bet every day is different for you, right, Brandon? So you get different walk-in traffic, different leadership roles you play, different communication, different people that are looking for services. But so if you had to break it down percentage-wise, do you think it's new business? Do you think it's people coming in saying, I'm ready for the next stage of my business, I need ways to grow? Or is it people that are winding down their business and transferring them to their family members or looking to sell? And I'm sure it's everything, all of the above. And then you've got all these connections you have either in Colorado Springs or in the region that you've partnered, that you've made connections, you network, you're a great networker. But so if you had to break it down by percentage, what would a normal day, week, or month or year look like as far as businesses coming in to see you or reaching out to you?
Well, and thank you for that question. And I will tell you, one of the most awesome parts of my job is there's no 2 days that are the same.
That's why she and I love what we do
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
And Dale.
Yeah, of course. So I'm industry agnostic, so I don't necessarily serve one industry. But like today, I'm at a manufacturing summit. We're supporting our manufacturers in the community. When people come in, generally they're coming to us because they have little to no resources. And resources translates to capital or money, right? So they don't have any money to hire somebody yet. They don't have any money to pay an accountant. They don't have any money to start a capital campaign or a marketing campaign. They come to us because we're a free resource. And so, of course, most of our clients are in that pre-revenue or that startup phase. And I like to break entrepreneurs into 4 phases. Pre-revenue, you have an idea, you're still kind of forming it. You're looking for that MVP, that minimum viable product. You might be in that second phase, which is startup, and you've already started selling your product, but you're still going through growing pains and you're figuring out what it's like. The third scale is your mature businesses who have started to scale up. Maybe they've got more than 10 employees by this point, and their systems, they probably have SOPs at that point. They probably have systems in place. And then you have your legacy business owners who are on that 3 to 5 year track to either merge or sell their business. An interesting stat is about 50% of businesses will close because they didn't have an exit strategy, meaning they didn't plan for that merger or to sell it off. And that's hard to kind of work through that, especially when an entrepreneur and the identity of the business are synonymous. And so what we do is we try and pull those things apart so that your business can be an independent teenager that's growing and building out, and you can kick them out of the house one day. And that's the goal, is that you don't have the same identity as your business. But to directly answer your question, most of our businesses are in that pre-flight or in that startup phase, but we love working with those scaling businesses, especially our exit planners. We love working with them. It's just, it's less of it because of the nature of resources.
Yeah. Well, we are a military podcast, so let's talk about the veterans or the military spouses in particular too, right? You've got the Army connection. You found your true passion. Are you seeing startups as they transition out of the military because they have they have the skills, the portable skills that are transferable in that leadership environment. Like you said, their structure, they love SOPs, they love logistics, they love a template where it just makes sense to them. But what kind of, I guess, guidelines or best practices would you give someone that has that idea?
Yeah. So anybody who has a DD 214 probably sat through some sort of TAP program. So transitioning out. And what we do here in our community, because we do have 5 military installations, and just as a little caveat, 44% of the economy in the Pikes Peak region is tied to aerospace and defense. We have Space Force. We have the Fort Carson, which is geographically one of the largest military installations in the country. Obviously, the Air Force Academy, which most people know, and NORAD, which is kind of a novelty in some ways, but obviously doing really, really important work. And even though Space Command is moving to Huntsville, I will tell you a lot of that command is still going to be centralized in the Pikes Peak community. And Golden Dome initiatives and things like that are going to be really critically important to mission. With that being said, our soldiers and our troops that are transitioning out, they oftentimes we're a transient community because of that. And so what we're doing is we're like giving them that pre-flight idea so that if they're going to stay in the Pikes Peak region or move back home, whatever that looks like, we're going to have them with a really structured idea of what a business plan is and help them kind of work through their idea. They bring so many great skills as veterans to be entrepreneurs. And what I love about this demographic, if you will, is they understand government. And so this is a great place for them to lean into government contracting. And so at our veterans conference that we'll have on November 7th, we'll have 15 workshops that day. And many of them are tailor-made to how to work with government or how to get that certification of that VOSB, which is that veteran-owned certified small business. So we really lean into that with these soldiers and these airmen that are retiring because they bring a lot of transferable skills into entrepreneurship.
Sure. Do you want to mention that date again? Because I think we're going to have to get at least 25 plugs from you for a conference coming up. And what is it? November, what was it again?
November 7th, 2025.
Where's it being held?
It'll be at Great Wolf Lodge in Colorado Springs. It is a family-friendly event. So we have a really great room block. So if you're flying into town, if you go to pikespeaksbdc.org, you can find all of the information about the event, including our room block details. It's $99 and you get 5 water park tickets for the event. So bring your kids.
That's a really good deal.
Dale, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah.
I'll tell you guys, this is a day where veterans find their tribe. I mean, if you want to find a place where you're doing networking, getting plugged into resources, and learning about how to be a veteran entrepreneur, this is the event. We'll have 70 tables, 15 workshops, 3 keynote speakers, and 1 Santa Claus at this event.
Oh.
Dale, did you hear that?
So Dale's signing up as we speak. You can't see him, but he's over here hammering on the keyboard, getting out a credit card.
It's not just a conference because it sounds like this is an event and it'll be fun for everybody. So thanks for putting your heart and soul around it because after it's the 18th annual, you better get it right by now, don't you think? You've had 17 attempts.
Lucky for me, this is only my 3rd attempt at it, but
we'll edit that out. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
I think they say the 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, if you're looking for a little extra financial flexibility to take the family on a vacation, tackle that home renovation, or just get through the ups and downs of military life, we've got some great news for our military listeners.
Absolutely. Armed Forces Bank offers access loans that are perfect for handling life's unexpected expenses, consolidating debt, or even making that big purchase you've been thinking about. And with our fast approval process, you can get the funds you need quickly and easily without all the hassle.
At Armed Forces Bank, about 75% of our team is affiliated with the military, so we understand your unique needs. We've been supporting military families for over 100 years, and we're here to help you take control of your finances.
Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a reservist, we're committed to offering you flexible terms and competitive rates, making sure you get a loan that fits your life.
So if you're ready to take that next step, head over to afbank.com or visit a branch near you. Armed Forces Bank, serving those who serve.
Member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Origination fee applies. Direct deposit relationship required. Loan terms are based on loan amount.
No, we'll have 400 people at this event, guys. It's really an awesome way to invest in your business. And we love that it's a regional event. It's not just for folks in the Pikes Peak region. We're flying in one of our keynotes from Tampa Bay. His son's actually a cadet at the Air Force Academy. His name is Christian Kremple. He was one of the producers of the Blair Witch Project. And he now does documentaries for soldiers across the country. And he's a staunch advocate for veterans. And then our lunch keynote is John Register. He actually is a Paralympian, but he served as a combat vet, and he's just an inspiration to all. So really, really great day.
Sounds like a great day. And if you've ever stayed at Great Wolf Lodge, you know that $99 is a great price.
That's correct.
Yeah. Remember that when we were together, you showed me videos of you like going around Colorado Springs?
Yes.
What were you doing? Because I thought that was pretty innovative. And I want you to tell our audience, because they should steal that idea from you because it was so cool.
Well, the SBDC has a day. We actually have a holiday sometime in March. And so it's SBDC Day. And it's honestly a way for my office to give back to our advisors and give back to our stakeholders. And we have a lot of people that support our mission financially. So this year I created a box that kind of looks like a Happy Meal.
Right.
It's not a Happy Meal. So to be clear, McDonald's. But
Disclaimer,
we were giving out boxes of joy that day. And we went to a lot of our banks, a lot of our stakeholders, and we dropped off little packages for everybody and did a little social media campaign. So if you're following on LinkedIn or Facebook, look us up. We're the Colorado SBDC serving the Pikes Peak region, and kick back to March of this year and you'll see our video series.
So I want to talk about how you might partner with other SBDCs across the country. There are thousands of them. How do you collaborate with those peers? Are there learnings that you've experienced that are worth sharing here, both in your leadership capacity and just as you might have, I don't know if businesses transition and so you hand off. I don't know how that works, but how might you collaborate with them across the country?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, there's about 1,000 SBDCs. And each state or sub-state has kind of a network. So the Colorado network is just one. I think California has 2 or 3. But we have an annual training event that we go to every year. So we were just in Orlando last month in September. And we have a big training event where it's 3 days and we do a lot of workshops and a lot of cross-pollination, if you will, amongst other SBDC centers. And so it's a great opportunity for me to meet others, learn what they're doing, and kind of take some best practices. And then I'm part of 3 interest groups as part of our larger network. So my office does cybersecurity. So I'm in a cybersecurity interest group. And if you're interested in anything cybersecurity, check out our Delaware SBDC. They manage something called North Star. Or work with a company called North Star, and they're doing fantastic work helping entrepreneurs fortify their business through cybersecurity.
Awesome.
And they get there, is there a certain site where they should go, or should they just go to the global SBDC site and find Delaware?
No, I would Google or go in your chat and just say, find me the Delaware SBDC.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that so it's the ASBDC, so the America's SBDC. I don't know if their database plugs into all of the networks, but the Delaware SBDC site's very easy to find.
You know, Brandon's throwing out a lot of acronyms, like he's a military guy or a banker, right?
Yes. Or he's been in the military.
I mentioned that earlier.
I know. They have a lot of acronyms too.
More than banking or the same? Close?
Maybe more.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Yeah.
We'll make up some for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also part of a veterans interest group. And our veterans interest group includes some VBOC folks. So VBOC is the Veteran Business Outreach Center. And we meet on a monthly basis and we just talk about how our SBDCs intentionally serving veteran entrepreneurs. And so it's a great way for me to, as I mentioned, do cross-pollination. So we meet, across the country, there's folks involved in this. And what's great is like one of my peers in Huntsville, she's in that group as well. And I just think the collaboration between SBDC, it's at the core of our mission, right? Like to help find resources, connect you and uplift others. So it's a very easy task for us.
I'm not going to ask this next question like I normally would. Okay. So I'm going to put it more.
I have no idea where
I'm going to put it more plainly.
I'm sorry.
I was going to talk about your impact to the economic development, all that blah, 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 right? But you self-assess a lot. It seems like you're the kind of guy that would do that, right? And so what's the scorecard look like, or what does success look like? And I know you offer great services out there, but at some point you have to measure your impact or measure the success or get feedback, or the BBB gives you feedback, or your people that put Google ratings out there and talk about how great you are. But what is that scorecard? Because you probably just go through, like we talked about earlier, every day is something new. But when do you just sit back and say, wow, this is what we've done in my third year here, and I'm making sequential progress in how we're impacting lives and businesses?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm pretty competitive. So I definitely keep track of numbers. And as a recovering banker, I like to look at those numbers. But the country's divided into 10 regions with the SBA. So I'm in region 8. So we were actually the region 8 winner this year. So we were in the top 10 SBDCs in the country for 2025. So number one, that's a great metrics for me to feel pretty proud about for my team. But, every year we do impact reporting, and this is required of the SBA, but it's also needed for our stakeholders. So when we're measuring success, we're talking about how many businesses started with our support, how many jobs did we help create and retain, how much capital our business is getting because of the work we do. Last year, we had almost $30 million in capital gain because of our work. And, we do a lot of government contracting with some of our clients. So that makes a big impact pretty quick, right? But these numbers that we track help us measure that economic growth for the state. So if you go to the Colorado SBDC landing page, we have our impact report, and you can see all of the metrics that we measure every single year and what kind of economic impact the SBDC has to the state. And I will tell you, it's tremendous.
I think that's awesome. Congratulations to your team on
Excellent.
That recognition. I think it's nice to have that kind of outward recognition. I mean, I'm sure you guys feel like, yeah, this is humming along and we're doing a great job, but it's always cool to have your team recognized.
You probably got the Social Media Idea of the Year award too.
You probably did.
For Box of Joy?
Box of Joy.
Yeah.
Box of Joy, yeah. No, I've been told I'm a very creative director, but I think that's part of entrepreneurship, is we have to think outside of the box.
Exactly.
On the way that we're going to serve the community. You won't find a commercial during a football game showing SBDC. It's through word of mouth and through the work we do. And so because of that, we have to really be creative in our partnerships. So I'm actually a member of 9 different chambers in the Pikes Peak region. And
it sounds like
a lot of breakfast meetings.
a
lot of ribbon cutting ceremonies.
And have eggs every day of the week.
Let me tell you. So a lot of event-facing things that support businesses. We just did a health expo with, I think it was 170 vendors that we were at that event with. So we're always looking for opportunities to partner in the community, because that's who's really, communicating and getting involved with our business community. So partnerships are key to our success.
I love that. What are some of the big, we talked about AI and that's come up on another podcast that we've done.
Cybersecurity is a big
Cybersecurity for sure. Those are 2 key hot button topics. Are there other trends that you are cautioning business owners or encouraging business owners that are coming your way to really lean into beyond those that we've talked about already?
Yeah, obviously tariffs would be something that people want to talk about. AI gets in the conversation so much, and I'll get back to tariffs here in a moment, but AI is this trend where there's some folks out there that are saying, I'm going to wait and see. I would encourage you not to wait and see. At the very least, get a $20 GPT account and start using it so you're familiar with it. The workforce is demanding that people know how to use these tools. And so just don't fall behind too quickly when it comes to just finding at least one software that you feel like you can use, whether it's Perplexity or ChatGPT or Gronk. I don't care what it is. Just use one of those tools and start figuring out how it works. Cybersecurity is interesting. I just read a report this morning about how AI is helping and hurting cybersecurity, because it's helping fraudsters do a lot of data research for them.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's not a good thing, right? And I also see the evolution of quantum computing really being an X factor in the next couple of years. Once quantum computing is available, open source, it's going to really change the game for encryption. So I think banks need to be really attentive and ahead of encryption will not be your fail-safe in the future when it comes to cybersecurity. And so you've got to find these quantum methods that will help combat some of that. I mean, the quantum computing can do things 1,000 times faster than you could ever dream. So next year's AI Summit, and by the way, your listeners, if you want to Google Blaze AI, we have a landing page spun up with all 8 speakers from our AI Summit this year.
Oh, great.
And I hope you'll visit the site, check out some of the resources we spun up.
That's really good info. Yeah.
Who knows? Next year, maybe we'll have Blaze AI Cyber Quantum Summit. I mean,
I don't think I'm smart enough to go to a summit called that.
That's multi-syllabic too.
Yes, yeah.
It's interesting because the intersect of AI and these other two topics, obviously cyber and quantum, it's starting to converge. And people don't always know that they're even using AI anymore. And so I'm just really curious to see where we go over the next 2 years for small business. But yeah, check out the AI Summit. Next year, we're going to evolve it and make it even bigger and badder than ever before.
Awesome.
The jury's still out about quantum computing, but some recently said 5 years it'll be a thing. Some people said 10. But the way people, every day that goes by, it's like, okay, quantum computing's here in about a year. It just feels like it's going so fast.
I think we're much closer than 5 years. I can tell you that there's at least 3 or 4 possibly quantum computers in Colorado alone that we know of. The problem is we don't even know of all the quantum computers that are out there because they're federal, and we're in a race. We're a race against our foes across the world.
Sure.
And we're in a race to make sure that we get ahead of this for security and for growth. And quantum is around the corner, my friends. I don't think I think 5 years is too far down the line.
Well, you said you were a competitor. You said it the correct way.
I can hear it in his voice.
I know. Beat your foes, but also be ahead of your allies too, because you want to be the leader in this. Sometimes being a fast follower is okay too, but it's going to be an ever-changing, dynamic game out there too. So we're going to thank you. How's the weather out there today, by the way?
Well, I'm outside. It's lovely. Colorado Springs gets 360 days of sunlight a year.
Actually?
Actually.
Wow.
Is that do I need to Google that, or is that true? Is that true?
Go for it. Give it a shot.
That's like a box of joy right there.
That is a box of joy.
That's a box of joy.
I did skip over tariffs.
Definitely. I'm curious what you have to say on that topic.
Yeah. So I'm talking with a lot of folks that do manufacturing. And, the big push right now at the SBA is to transition away from international trade to U.S. manufacturing. Now, with that being said, our businesses that I'm supporting are having to go back to their manufacturers in India, in China, in Honduras, in Mexico, and Canada. And they're looking at them saying, there's something called like the cost per stitch. Well, what is the cost per stitch in Honduras versus India? And I can tell you that it's still half as much as it is in most cases in the United States. And so having the capacity to have the machinery and the talent in the United States to bring those manufacturing jobs here, it takes years. We actually have a local design shop called Creative Consortium. They ordered a printing machine 5 years ago from Sweden. They just got it. And
wow.
This machine is super cool, guys. When they print stickers, they're texturized. They're printing them on huge 100-foot-yard sheets. It took them 5 years to have that machine designed, built, and shipped to the United States just so that they can manufacture that here in the United States.
That's crazy.
So I think there will be some pain points, and I think our businesses need to be prudent with those decisions. And I respect anyone who's going through that. And I hope you're going through some really tough negotiations with your manufacturers abroad. But do what you can to help keep that cost from passing off to your clients as long as you can. Now, that doesn't mean that tariffs aren't a real thing. They are. And I think people need to be sensitive to that, especially when you see the cost of something go up as a consumer. We just need to be aware that our businesses that are serving in these spaces are trying really hard not to pass it off as much as possible.
All right, final question. You ready?
Yes.
He might be a liar. He sometimes has follow-ups to follow-ups.
Is there a game show that says that? Final question.
No.
Here's your final question. Ready? So
Okay.
I don't know if it should be a one-word answer or a one-sentence answer. If you had to give one piece of advice because you're the knower of all about how to successfully run a business, what would it be?
I think if you decide to be an entrepreneur, that you need to recognize there are seasons to entrepreneurship. You're in your early phase, epiphany phase, or you're in your late phase. Whatever season you're in, acknowledge that, embrace it, and know that every season comes with challenges. I think it's like anything in life. You know, if you have young kids, you're in a season of raising young kids. If you have elderly parents in your home, you're in a season of caring for them. And the same can be true of entrepreneurship. I don't think that it's a glamorous thing, and it's very hard work, but it can be very rewarding. And I think it's something that can lead to independent financial success. I believe that there's 3 ways to financial freedom. It's real estate, building a great retirement portfolio, and entrepreneurship. And if you do that entrepreneurship thing really well and pour into it and really put in the hard work, it's very rewarding. So that's my advice.
That's a great answer.
That's a soundbite right there.
That, and I literally am writing busy is the enemy of strategy on my board. So, yeah.
Well, that just means you're going to have to find some more AI tools to help.
I know. I'll have to do it on my non-work computer, though. I think we're on lockdown. Well,
by the way, if we're talking acronyms, I'm going to call him a SME.
SME.
Oh,
an SMB SME.
Ooh. No, it's too much.
You're welcome. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Put it on your business card.
That's 3 new business opportunities that came out of your mouth
I know.
today.
I'm going to just trademark everything that comes out of my mouth. Broadcast. Yeah. That was really good.
A podcast
that was accidental.
for our fraud team.
Yeah, broadcast.
Yeah. Now Brandon's going to take it.
I'll charge royalties. Oh my goodness.
Is it time?
It is time. So Brandon, this has been awesome. And we'd love to have you stick around for just a couple more minutes to play Military Minute with us. I promise. Okay. I promise it'll be a great time.
Brandon, what is Military Minute? Do you have any idea?
He's fearful.
I'm guessing it's like minute to win it. You know, how many coat hangers can I hang at once?
By the way, it just came to me. You know what that game show it says? Final answer.
No.
It's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Final Answer.
Final answer.
Final answer.
And what was the movie that was about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, Slumdog.
Slumdog Millionaire. One of the best movies of, at least one of the top 5,000 movies
Far too much downtime is what I'm hearing. Yes, you need to do some of these things that we learned about from Brandon today.
Maybe if you just remember what you did.
Yes, I know.
Had for breakfast this morning.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But we're going to play a Military Minute. We've got 2 questions today, Brandon. The first question is from our last episode. So if you happen to know this random thing, then you can participate. Last week's Military Minute was about podcasts because it was the first episode of our 2nd season. I was going to say that, Tom. You didn't have to interrupt me.
And we're competitive with Lacey Langford because she's got 8 times more than we do.
She's got more, so we're not actually competitive then is what that tells me.
That's a great point, Jodi.
So anyway, the question last time was, what was the name of the podcast with the most episodes published and how many episodes are there? I was going to say were there, but are there? Because it's probably still active. So the name of the podcast with the most episodes published and how many episodes is
in the history of podcasts, the number of listeners and the number of episodes.
Feel free to fact check McLean on this one too, if you would like. And
Jodi Vickery.
And file a complaint if he's wrong. But if you are in our audience and you answered the podcast name Too Beautiful to Live with 6,643 episodes, 1, you probably have a lot of free time to Google things like that. But 2, watch for your name to be dropped as...
And they did that in 3 days.
The lucky winner of $50 for you and $50 to a charity of your choice. So the next one you can answer. You might know it too, because you are a smart guy. We've established that. But this one's for our audience this week. This week's Military Minute is a question about veteran-owned businesses. According, I know, very appropriate, well played.
It ties right back to it, doesn't it?
It's amazing. According to the SBA's Office of Advocacy, how many veteran-owned businesses?
SBA OAC?
Oh my gosh.
Or OA?
According to the SBA's Office of Advocacy, how many veteran-owned businesses are there in the United States in 2024?
Am I allowed to answer?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay. I know the answer. I'll tell you offline.
Spoiler alert. Brandon knows.
Once we stop recording, he can blurt it out.
Yeah. So, but if you're in our audience, go find this answer. If you aren't as smart as Brandon and already know the answer, And when this podcast drops, you
He does
can
it for a living.
drop the answer in our comments. And if you are right first, and then if you are selected second, you too could be the recipient of $50 for yourself and $50 to a charity of your choice. That's all I got to say about that. Good job. I don't know if anybody's ever gotten the prior podcast one.
No. I think Brandon.
Well played, sir.
He is a thought leader, and he is well
That's how
beyond
he gets
most
all those trophies.
normal IQs.
That's how he gets all those trophies.
Do you like some trophies?
Bring it home, McLean.
Yes, if you enjoyed today's episode in 360 out of 365 sunny days in Colorado Springs, like Brandon did,
And if you like boxes of joy.
and yes, and if you want to go to some cybersecurity website and go to some sort of
Blaze AI. Blaze AI.
conference,
Yep.
or if you want to go to, what's this conference coming up again in November? What is it?
Yep,
One more
November
time.
7th, set November 7th, 18th Annual Veteran Small Business Conference at Great Wolf Lodge in Colorado Springs. You can go to Pikes Peak, SBDC.org to find out more.
And
Awesome.
the good thing is this is being published on November 8th, so it'll be perfect for
Man,
next year.
kind of an added bonus. If Dale comes, you could say, and you get to meet Dale. I mean, that could be added to your website.
And now the participation level went in the tank. All
I know.
right. So, yes, if you enjoyed today's episode as much as Hunter did, go out to afbank.com and subscribe to the show. Also, make sure to rate us, leave us a comment on your favorite podcast platform, which happens to be, Brandon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So,
Awesome.
more pub for you, and people were certainly going to benefit if they go to the conference.
Wonderful.
Can't wait for that to happen because it sounds like it's something that's going to be memorable and worth every minute of it and dollar.
We certainly will make your value.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you today, and we appreciate you joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
See ya.
Copyright Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as IRS.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.